Good evening and welcome to another scene in the living world of darkness, Magic from the Ashes. Today we have a scene where we start with Julie doing, well, maybe not advanced yoga, but doing some yoga things in the main room of the chantry. And she seems to be relaxing, stretching.
Sorry, what was that? Which room?
The common room. Most
Okay.
of the time she does it in the common room, actually.
Alrighty. Kat's gonna come through. Kat has a few towels on her. Some extra either curtains or possibly even an aluminum foil if there's none of those. All of the towels are darker. If she can get black, they will be black. And all kinds of other fabrics. Hey, what's with it, Julie?
She doesn't answer right away. Her eyes are closed. She seems to be focusing. Yeah, probably focusing.
Yeah.
She,
Once Kat notices that, she won't bother her anymore.
well, after a little, she'll just blink her eyes open. Just hi, Kat. I'm just getting give me just a moment. And she kind of looks around and sees if there's anyone else, and she just, hey, do you need a hand or anything? I'm about done now. So.
Nah, I'm cool for right now.
All right. And she begins to roll up her yoga mat.
There's a sound from upstairs. Sounds like someone's running downstairs. And Nausica basically appears, hand over her mouth, and she runs past the bedroom to the toilets and doesn't close the door, and you can hear her violently vomiting.
Kat would make this joke, all right?
Julie just looks a bit worried.
Kat looks over and says, "We can get you a test from the store. It's all good. I don't know what dude was up in there, though."
You okay, Nausica?
A moment later, Nausica comes out looking groggy. She has massive bags under her eyes. Looks absolutely haggard.
James will look up from the common room table where he'll have his guns dismantled and he's cleaning them. Look up with a raised eyebrow. That didn't sound nice.
You straight?
I'm okay. I have some news.
Is it related to that?
Regarding what exactly?
Nausicaa kind of straightens herself up a bit, and looks pretty quizzy. In fact, I think she's on. Oh, no, I'm not actually on any damage. I've got some information about. I've got some information about the technocracy.
Okay. I thought it was something. I thought it was something worse than that.
Oh, that's good. Any news on anything particular or what?
Yeah. I found the location of that a group I believe to be affiliated with them operates out of. A group called Iron Man Solutions. Julie, you may remember the robot that chased us.
Don't. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
I'm sure you remember us talking about it, James. It is a private military company that I believe is associated with them. My research into them...
What was the name again?
Iron Man Solutions.
Iron Man Solutions.
The
That's a
one
bit
with
on the
the killer robot
nose.
thing.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned them at last meeting we had.
It's still a bit on the nose. But yeah, I remember them.
Oh yeah, hell.
So after some research into them, I have various information on them. Their operating systems, where they work out of, the warehouse that is linked to them. And I followed one of their employees home. And
I'm sorry, you what?
I followed one of their employees home, a lady called Lynn. She
James
works
also
in
scowls.
HR.
Alone?
I should rephrase myself.
James
I
scowls
followed-
a little bit deeper.
I followed her without leaving the chantry. If you take my meaning.
Okay, that's a
Oh,
lot more comforting.
Oracle, right?
Obviously.
So I followed her home. I waited till she slept. I then managed to break into her computer. I now have a collection of employee emails and details. And what I do not have, however, Iron Man appears to operate through a business system called Avalon. In the communications, it seemed important. When I tried to access it, things became difficult. I ran a program to synthesize the information to work out what the password would be, and it proved too much. The computer overheated, and it made me feel bad.
Really?
Q, what just happened?
Q, what just happened?
Huh.
So,
I'm surprised.
Why?
I don't know. The way you were talking about your computer programs, I know started to believe that they were infallible.
Well, they might have countermeasures?
Having
Math.
their own Nausica would work, yeah.
Math is infallible, but I am not. My application was clearly wrong. I clearly missed something.
Or
Next
maybe
time,
they
I
have
won't.
magical, well, things in place that makes it a lot harder to do, well, hacker stuff.
This is why I followed middle management home. I did not want to attempt to access their system directly. Although they do appear to have levels of encryption on certain employees. For example, Grace's ex-husband. Her personal computer was relatively easy to access. However, the Avalon systems have proved more difficult.
well, I don't know too much about all that, but you're trying to learn more about this Avalon shit, right?
I am.
And passwords, codes, or
James
things
holds
you
up. James holds up a finger real quick. Grace's ex-husband is a member of this Iron Man.
No. Grace's ex-husband works as a driver for the Zeta Clinic. When I tried to access his personal information and that of his new girlfriends, I was met with an encryption wall. I did not wish to push through it. I was not sure if they would be able to detect me doing it and trace me back here.
But her ex-husband, we've already discussed that. We need to, it's a thing we need to look into and solve because it's obviously smells way too fishy for, well, everyone's.
I
I believe.
mean,
Please, Kat, go on.
it sounds like what y'all need is a nice dose of human intelligence.
Oscar cocks a head at Kat.
Yeah, I read espionage shit. Basically, of people going out there and making those connections and meeting people, so that way they can get the information they need. Because the Oracle, as powerful as it is, as we've seen, there are just certain things that it can't do right now, for whatever reason, whether it be application or some system being superior. I don't know. That's your wheelhouse.
To do that, we'd need people sympathetic with our cause, because I don't think necessarily that we can do it ourselves. We've managed to manufacture some protective false identification where it comes to the normal world, but I would assume that people involved with the Zeta Clinic and people involved with this Iron Man security would know exactly who we are the moment that we set foot on their territory.
I agree. That is why I'm doing this at arm's length. I'm being extremely cautious. They have proven to be able to easily trace and track us. However, I believe targeting their employees directly away from the place of business could be useful. I found out that they do hold what they call a Fun Time Friday. Many of the employees of the Human Resources Department meet up for cocktails in the city.
Maybe we.
It's possible we could hire a private investigator to infiltrate.
Nausica scowls slightly.
Or we can just get some ends at the cocktail place and kind of see what's up.
I fail to see what possible information a private investigator could get that I couldn't.
Again, human intelligence, as he points over to Kat. There are areas that a computer program can't.
You misunderstand. I wasn't acting through a computer program. When I acted through a computer, I was asking it directly by manipulating space-time.
I don't entirely understand what you're saying here, but what I'm saying is that hey, how you doing can get a lot more answers if I spoke to a random person in the street than it can you speaking from a computer to another computer.
It also could be a lot more risky. You're identifying yourself. And I very much doubt that middle management...
That's why, that's why I'm adjusting it to a private investigator, not me. See? If it's somebody who's merely taking our money, he doesn't necessarily have to say. He doesn't necessarily have to know who we are, or they, for that matter.
That guy might be less competent, get caught easier, and has probably very, very little compunction to ratting out whoever hired him. So we need to
Names
keep
are funny things.
Fake name or something when we do it, but yeah.
Names are funny things. Here. Follow me down in the street for a second. I'm going to say name, and it's probably going to call somebody to me. We can take that somebody, ask them to hire the private investigator, have the private investigator investigate this Fun Friday, see what information he can dig up on the employees, given that day.
What information are you looking for?
Personality flaws, mostly.
Me, I'm more.
Ways. No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, guy. I'll continue.
All I was going to say was, on my end, the main thing I'm looking for is anything that helps you get into that Avalon thing.
I will provide. I'll provide you with as much information as I have. If other people would like to work on this as well, or assist me, I would appreciate it. I'm sure we could all use something to work towards. I believe that if we can find the correct information, some secret, some weakness, we may be able to exploit it to better our position in the city. Although I do not believe directly confronting Iron Man will end up will end up well, even with our increased talents. And she kind of nods towards James in the arena of combat. I believe that if we can have them discredited under investigation by the police somehow, if a strong enough secret or case can be made, even the technocracy's influence would not be able to prevent it, similar to what happened with Geld Plus.
Civilization, thy name is bureaucracy. Anyway, that's pretty much what I was suggesting, is we come at this from different fronts. I can use a small amount of the funds that I have to my disposal to hire an investigator, perhaps. I can probably spin a convincing tale of how I'm a jilted husband of one of these employees. Can be convincing. I'll examine it further.
What information would you be looking for, though?
Personal information, possibly flaws, character. Perhaps we could use that to our advantage. Not
I believe
slightly, if we could perhaps convince one of them to either defect to our side or give them reason to.
Although I believe defection to our side may be difficult, I do not believe that the middle management or many of the employees know they are working for the Technocratic Union. I believe they are in the dark as most sleepers. They are simply...
No, but they do have passwords, don't they?
They do. And the concept of sending somebody in perhaps with information or to gather information for us, this could work, but I think we would have to find the right person and we would have to know what we were looking for. I think at this stage we should concentrate on information gathering. If you wish to hire a private investigator, then I am the Argent of our coterie. I believe it is my job to provide funds for that.
I'm sorry, out of character, did you say coterie?
As I did say coterie, didn't I?
Yes, you did. I wasn't going to say anything, but...
It's all good. We in a mode right now. It's all good.
Yeah. Sorry. Of our cabal.
All good.
I wish I was a coterie.
No, you don't. We're not House Tremere. Get that shit out of here.
Boo. I'm halfway to House Tremere.
Meanwhile, I'm still waiting.
However, if the rest of you would like to assist me, I don't know if any of you are familiar in the areas of numerology or other aspects. If you could assist me with computer programming, perhaps, I may be able to strengthen my abilities to crack into this Avalon.
I know a little bit of that shit. Yeah.
You lost me at computers. I can do numerology. I could probably do numerology for days, but computers, just no. I'm lucky. I can turn the things on. I'll freely admit that.
Well, maybe I could help myself by getting some of the brokers at work to help me with it. The data analysts, if I give them small enough pieces of information, they won't know what they're looking at.
This is true.
All right, now, here's another question. Something I'm a little curious about. Are there any organizations, people, things like that are opposing the Zeta claims? Do they have any like lawsuits or some shit like that? You don't get big without making some enemies.
I don't know. Perhaps
That's
you
a
could research
good
that.
idea.
Enemy of my enemy. is, at the very least, a convenient tool.
Sure, but just I don't know. I just have the sneaking
Where did we
suspicion.
find this one? Can we go looking for another one like her?
There's only one of me, James. And she'll wink.
Please, Julie, you were saying.
I got the feeling that, well, Zeta Clinic probably has so much power behind them. Anyone who gets anywhere close to having a lawsuit up against them probably gets shut down hard, fast. But that's just my feeling.
I do think that the Zeta Clinic is the centerhold and the headquarters of technocratic power in the city. Geld Plus, the brokerage that I had dealings with, they were aiding the Zeta Clinic and Iron Man Solutions with financial transactions. Now they're gone. They may be slightly more exposed. I believe tackling the Zeta Clinic directly may be difficult. If we are able to take out the smaller organizations, for example, Iron Man Solutions or other ones that we do not know exist yet, we may be able to weaken the Zeta as a whole. Whenever I have approached the Zeta Clinic in any way, they have been far more capable than I was, far exceeding my abilities to track them. But I do believe that if we take apart the organizations supporting them in the city, we may be able to weaken their hold, weaken their ability to trace and track us.
Speaking of weakening the ability to track and shit, in not too long, I'm actively preparing to do a thing right now. If it works, I'm going to see if I can get y'all to hook up with this too.
Nausica does a head cock thing that kind of says, please go on.
So my idea was, I hit up one of the spirits of night or darkness, and I get in good with them. I have to do a little bit of shenanigans because shit like that don't come for free. Might be able to get some extra breathing room. If that works out, I want to see if I can do that for the rest of y'all.
I don't know. Can you try again? Just a little less ghetto.
Wow, already. I am going to talk to a spirit and make a deal.
Thanks.
If this deal is successful, I would also like to use this deal on all of you, so you can all benefit from the rewards of it.
Gotcha.
Jake just bursts out laughing. Subtlety, not Julie's strong point.
No, it's fine. It's just,
What would be the result of these? And Nausicaa looks like she's almost like got like a spider in her mouth. Spirit deal.
I'm thinking what it could probably be is it could just give us an extra layer of secrecy. You know what I mean? Spirit works its magic, fucking just gets a little bit of itself on you. Just straight up makes you harder to find. But that's just an idea. I haven't tried it yet, but I've got a pretty good feeling about it.
Nausicaa looks like she's being very diplomatic. Well, If you believe this would work, then I think you should try it. I hope that the results are positive.
What Kat's gonna do is Kat's gonna find one of the trash bins and just kind of push that over to Nausicaa and be like, I feel like you may need that. Thank you.
Nausicaa just looks down at it, looks back up. You mean if I vomit again?
Yeah.
Thank you, that's very considerate of you, Kat.
Hey, you know I try.
Nausicaa's in no way being sarcastic.
James raised up his finger. Can I watch this? I've never actually seen a spirit deal.
Depending on how it goes, like I'm fairly certain I can pull it off because I've done shit like this before. But based on what I've been told, this awakening shit is on some next level shit.
Nausicaa goes up to Julie and just stands in front of her, hands behind her back, and kind of looks over at James and almost like clears her throat a bit. And there was me thinking that James was familiar with spirits.
I mean, I see them and stuff, but we don't talk with them that much. Like, but it's cool. It's cool.
Nausicaa looks almost proud of herself.
Like, at that point, it's going to take a while. She's just going to slowly just turn her head towards Nausica. Did you just make a joke?
Nausicaa just shrugs, turns around. She's clearly looking very pleased with herself.
That was good, Nausicaa. Like, sorry, it took me a moment to realize. That was good.
Sorry, continue.
Never actually seen. I don't know if I can say that now. An extraplanar entity. How about that? There we go. Can't get the confusion there.
Extra planet instant. What the fuck? This isn't Stargate, fam. What the fuck?
Oh, like the spiders. I think
A spirit. I'm trying to say a spirit without actually saying a spirit. Because
He is trying to
according to Nausicaa, I have seen spirits.
He is referencing my brevity at exposing and using wordplay to expose a certain habit of his, alcoholism.
She made a pun. She made a pun.
I know. I'm
She's trying to say she made a pun.
No, I caught that.
Nausicaa looks like the kid at the party that said something funny that all the adults laughed at.
like,
Oh god.
we should take a time out to really dive deep into what this means, but I think we're on kind of a deadline, so yeah.
So, Kat, if you look into Avalon yourself, see if you can come up with anything, and also you make this spirit deal that would further conceal us, that would be useful. James, if you would care to look into this encounter with their employees, create a plan, and we can see if we could get any pertinent information from it. I believe we are working towards a common goal.
Hey, it's what we're here to do, yeah?
It is. As for me, I will access Lynn's computer again. I will attempt to get more information from her. I was thinking of installing a key reading a key reading program onto her computer so that I can simply receive digitally what she types in, including her password.
That would be neat.
It would be. It would mean going to Lynn's house to directly install it.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Why? I'll go when they're
Way
asleep.
too risky. Way too risky.
I do not believe it would be too risky. My ability to space-time manipulation means I could be in and out very quickly. Unfortunately, I don't know how. I am not competent enough to transport others.
Well, what we can do is you can get a couple people on lookout, just in their cars or whatever, and then you do your thing where there's backup.
I would simply create a small wormhole from the chantry or my office, step through while they are sleeping, install the program on her computer, and then leave the same way.
And if you do that, then it'll be all good, and people that are on the lookout can just head on back. But if shit goes wrong, you do need some kind of backup.
Potentially. But I will see. I may be able to download one directly, especially if I set up the file in an accessible online cloud beforehand. In which case I will not actually have to physically go there.
In which case it'll be all good.
In which case it will all be good, correct. Have the rest of you had any developments we could work towards? Or information you need to share with the group?
No, not really, no.
Did you have an enjoyable conversation with Rebecca the other night?
Oh, yeah. I got some. Well, I'm not sure about her, but I thought one of us had to try to just, I don't know, mend things or something. I mean, I'm kind of really fucking tired of not having any answers and knowing that there's weird shit around us, but not really having any concrete answers is really pissing me off, honestly. But
I think, although the protocols only directly relate to sleepers, I do believe that we should still maintain a certain level of secrecy, even among other, for a moment, strange people of the city.
I'm not going to tell her shit.
This would be good.
I'm going to...
So this... My bad. Go ahead.
No, it's just... There's something off. Like, I'm not entirely sure. Like, I don't think I would trust her. But...
If you like, I know where she lives.
Oh, I know where she lives, too.
My girl laying that pipe. Anyway.
Have you been to her accommodation?
Yeah, once with Alba, but...
Oh.
I don't know. It's weird. Like... I don't know how much she knows, but... She does seem to know shit that... Well, few of us do.
Similar to Samir.
Kind of. I got that vibe. Yeah.
Interesting.
Although I think Samir is one of us, or very much like us, I don't think she is.
Oscar just shrugs.
Who this be now?
One of Abba's friends, or someone she knows.
A lady called Rebecca. We believe that she associates with werewolves, although she likely is not one herself. And also, she seems to be aware of the supernatural, as it were. Although, again, is not one of us.
She called me a wizard.
Really?
Yeah.
How inaccurate.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. That
That's what stuck out to me. She didn't call us awakened or anything. She called us wizards, which is about like a little off, but how much off I don't know. But that was just that she maybe knows certain things, but not all. Maybe she
do the
knows. Maybe what she knows is very limited or wrong. Who knows? But that's really what I wanted answered. Like, what does she know? How much? Honestly, that was my thing. Like,
hey, most important thing to find out, is she a threat?
well,
Nausica nods in agreement.
yeah, that's why I was afraid, and that's why I did what I did,
That's
because
fair.
I want to know exactly what she knows. So if we suddenly find information that she is allied with the technocracy or something, although she did seem to know about him and did not seem to care too much about him, and I think she was fairly genuine about that. Then again, that could be said of a lot of people. Well, I want to be sure. I don't want to know as much about her as possible before shit hits the fan, if it does. So,
In the future, Julie, I believe perhaps a level of salty would be required.
of what?
Louise, you were keen on gathering this information, and it became obvious. She could use that against you potentially.
Well, who can't at this point?
Who can't what?
Use shit against us. Everyone can.
They can't use what they don't know against us. For example, I think we should have it a rule. We never bring anyone back here. If you would like to meet with them, you could use some of the properties we have around the city.
I suppose.
Also, I believe that from my understanding and research into the Technocratic Union, although they were mainly opposed to us, they were also opposed to other supernatural forces. If you are to befriend one of these people, or even just become an associate, you're in a way making them a target.
Or Julie just looks. That seems thoughtful for a moment. I know, shocking. She says. Or we might have a potential ally.
You're right. We may have a potential ally. Although, from talking to Misha, she is a member of the Fae.
The what?
The Fae.
Yeah, we had gone over this Tinkerbell and all that shit.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. Fairies, yeah, of course.
the-
Of course
the-
they're sure, yeah.
The Hermetic Code references them as potentially threatening, but I believe they are not directly our enemies. However, from talking to her, from what I understand, they have their own problems, and they are not concerned with ours. In the same way that likely we would not be concerned with their problems, because we have our own.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, best case scenario, we can hope for maybe a little bit of side help, and more than likely non-aggression.
So just shrugs. I have no idea. However, I would not like to be indebted to them.
Yeah, bad shit happens when you get indebted to fairies and shit. It's not good.
What's going on?
And you know this how?
Motherfucker, ain't you read a fairy tale? Fucking crying rivers and tears of blood and shit for like 1,000 years because you forgot to fucking give a gift to some bitch down the street because she gave you sugar one time.
Rumpelstiltskin, Snow White, etc.
Mm-hmm. Fuck that. I'm cool.
Oh, crap. I have to read fairy tales again? Shit.
Nah, don't watch any of that Disney bullshit. Read that Hans Christian Andersen bullshit. That real shit. That real shit.
Real shit. Julie just looks at her, kind of doubting and very, very tired looking.
The brothers grin.
Kat, may I ask you a question?
Yeah, what's up?
In the colloquial dialect you use, is it necessary to curse so much?
Yeah, that was also what I was getting. Never mind.
I mean, I swear relatively little compared to some of my people from the other neighborhood. Shit. Maybe every other sentence, literally every sentence, every other word, they'd be like, fuck this, fuck that, fuck the police, fuck that, fucking data clinic bullshit, fuck all this. Yeah, no. Does it actually offend you though?
No, I was simply wondering. Your speech patterns are quite unusual.
Cat, be quiet. They don't know. They don't know. Cat, be quiet. Don't say it.
Perhaps you say you were from disenfranchised neighborhoods. Perhaps you could teach us how to speak like that so we could better blend in if we were ever in those to escape the Technocratic Union.
I think I can do a fairly good approximation, but yeah, maybe Nausica should have a ghetto.
Okay, for rule one, stop calling it that. They will throw hands at you. Don't say that.
I know, but like.
No, you don't. Don't say it.
Well, where I live, we refer to it as the ghetto as well, but hey.
And I believe Kat is
Maybe
saying
we're
it was
opposers, I don't
considered within the ghetto a derogatory term, so you should not refer to it as such.
All right.
Nausicaa looks like she's she's mentally taking notes of this.
Listen, though, if you want to just learn more of the lingo, just fucking walk down the street, see what's up. I'm not talking about looking into that with the Oracle thing.
We have to walk down the streets.
You got to hear how people talk. You gotta immerse yourself.
I think Nausica's out now, but all right.
Yeah, Nausicaa looks like the idea of walking down the streets is just like,
I mean, you live in New York. It's just a matter of learning how New Yorkers speak.
Yep.
But if I live here, then I am a New Yorker. So however I speak is also how New Yorkers speak.
I mean, if we talking
Nobody
about
says New Yorker.
Yeah, trust me. There's a difference between how you speak and how a New Yorker speaks. And she'll actually clear her throat.
You live in the city.
For example, Nausica, you tend to say the whole word like this, making sure you enunciate every syllable of what you are saying. Damn, that took some fucking effort.
I'm simply trying to be ergonomical in my speech.
Nah, I get you. For real though.
Try to think of it as being most efficient in your speaking.
I can understand how a regional dialect is more efficient to speak to people who understand that dialect or mannerisms, but it limits transference of knowledge to those who are not familiar with it.
But you ain't speaking of those who don't have knowledge. You're speaking to New Yorkers. You're speaking to city folk.
I don't really speak to city folk often. I've changed my mind, Kat. I would prefer not to learn. Thank you for the offer, though. I did not realize I would have to talk to people.
Hey, that's fair enough.
How is your research into your magic capabilities coming along? I am assuming that if you are talking about communicating with spirits, you have experimented with our spiritus, the sphere of spirit.
I mean, I guess you can call it that, yeah. I'm starting to get down things that I can use a little bit more regularly. Just some preliminary ideas for shits. That way I don't have to, I can think of shit to do when I'm in the moment.
I have found that practicing and repeating certain effects very helpful.
Why are you calling them that? Facts.
She doesn't like to use the S word.
The word spells implies certain things that I do not believe are accurate.
But effect doesn't do that too?
No, but I have not thought of a correct term to use that is a good catch-all.
I guess.
Scientific procedures, perhaps, although even I would find it somewhat of a stretch to call what I am doing strictly science right now, by the common understanding.
I've seen you work your magic on that thing, both figuratively and literally.
The M word.
I have no real issue calling it magic. In the same way I have no issue calling it science or natural law. They're the same thing. It is simply our understanding that leads to the different definitions. If we understand it, we call incredible things science. If we don't understand it, we call it magic. But no, you're right, Kat. I am using somewhat vague terms. I will think further on it.
So we straight?
Think so, but real question is, when are you planning on doing the whole thing with following people to their homes and doing shit?
As soon as I am able to write a more accurate program. For now, I do believe that the rest of you traveling to near her home is unnecessary. I'm able to access her computer simply if I am able to simply synthesize the probable passwords and try them out remotely, then I believe there is no need.
If you're able to do that.
If I am not, then perhaps more direct intervention may be necessary. But I would certainly prefer to be as hands-off with this as possible. Lynn, the target, I worked in human resources. I think there is very little chance she knows anything about the Technocratic Union or anything untoward directly. But if we are able to get clues and access deeper into these things, she may lead us further in. I believe if we find somebody that works directly for them and knows what they're doing, we will be able to get more information. But again, the risk involved would be much higher.
And we want to minimize that risk.
Exactly.
Possible.
We have tried to be stealthy in the past and failed. For example...
Don't remind me, please.
Okay, I won't. Well, I have work to do. Kat, have you been able to talk to Tasha yet?
Yeah, I got the hookup. Serena Gonzalez is in business.
If you would like to reinforce his identity with legitimate employment,
we can use another person in HR, like.
Oh my God, are you asking me to work in HR at your? What would you call that shit? What would you call your firm, your setup?
hedge fund, Iliad Capital Management. I'm not asking you to. I'm offering you to. It will be a way for you to gain employment that would maybe otherwise be denied to you.
It would reinforce this Serena identification.
Right, you're right.
It's simply an option, though.
It's what I did with Jonathan.
Plus the fairly substantial amounts of cash.
I'll at least do it for a bit. Just note, I'm not necessarily the best at taking orders. I'm just real.
I am also not very good at giving orders.
That's an understatement.
I could simply employ you as some kind of public relations contractor or something. Many firms have them. People who get paid money to do, as far as I can understand, very little. Managing public faces of hedge funds.
I could use an assistant.
Was that some sort of pun? She just looks at James.
No, it was serious.
It's up to you, Kat. There is no hierarchy involved, really, among us at the place. I don't give orders.
I've always been. I consider myself pretty fucking good at talking to people. Fucking do the public relations thing. I got that shit. Got that shit on lock.
If you could think of another way, then I would be more than happy. It is, after all, only a front. It is my mathematics that does the real work at the office. Even the brokers and data analysis, most of them are only there because it would be suspicious if it was one person.
All right, fair enough. So,
Unless there's anything else, I would get back to work, though.
Sure. I should be getting. Julie stops for a moment. Just to consider what she's actually. Well, she hasn't really anything to do at the moment. So. I should probably hit the gym or something. Yeah, I'll see you guys around.
I'd love to learn how you contact spirits. I have no knowledge of how to do that.
I mean, I'm gonna be using some of the old ways for it.
That's fine with me.
Old school stuff, real stuff.
Oh, okay. And
I'm just saying it may get a little weird sometimes. Also, if it shows up, don't call it an extraplanar entity. That's how you get cancer and die.
I was trying to say spirit without actually saying spirit.
Yeah, don't do that.
I believe in the Hermetic lexicon they refer them to as unbrewed entities.
Yeah, don't call them that either.
Noted.
Fair enough.
You guys have fun keeping in touch with the spirits. And she just does the international sign of smoking something. She says that.
Oh, would you stop?
Let's. How. Isn't that what it's like? Like, isn't that like.
Somehow, I don't think that's how every culture in the world talks to what they believe to be spirits.
Oh no, like, but. And then Julie just seems to get incredibly embarrassed for a moment. Probably. And then she just like, okay, I'll see you, goodbye. And then she just gets out and just almost shoots out of the door.
He shrugs. Well, go on. Either way.
All right, cool. This is just prep. I ain't actually doing it yet. But I can at least tell you some of the shit I've been picking up.
If it helps me learn a few things, it helps me learn a few things.
Itching. Let's hit it.
And that might be a good place to end the scene.
Yes. Thank you very much, players, for playing. Watch for watching. Good night.